Oh, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Um, I want to kind of help you understand. I'm in China, and I want to help you understand foreigners. Uh, um, it's okay when you have um, every place you go, they know they've got foreigners. They call them different names. Um, in Central America, they're not really called foreigners. Normally, they're called tourists, uh, and that's because they're bringing in tourist dollars, and they refer to them as tourists. And now, uh, because really, when you call someone a foreigner, I think it's insulting. For me, it's not insulting. For one thing, I've been called that a long time, all my life. People have been calling me a foreigner. So, uh, even though I'm not a foreigner, but because I look different or I've got different practices than the people around me, they call me a foreigner. And uh, seldom, well, they sometimes they'll call me a tourist until they realize I live there. I'm an expat. I live in different countries. So, and just like here, I get a room, apartment for a month. So that's not really a tourist. Tourist doesn't get an apartment. So, but so they call me a foreigner. Here in China, they call everybody foreigners, and they call them foreigners as an insult. And because as we live here, we are a better class of person. As a foreigner, you're ignorant. You don't know how things are done here. You can't speak the language. You can't do all this kind of stuff. And these are all things that say you're a foreigner and your class. You're a lower class person than someone that is a true Chinese person. Okay, now the reason I'm saying this is, like I say, I am half Chinese, and I was born in the United States, and the Chinese side of my family has always had a problem with me, and now there they don't really call me a foreigner, but they treat me. My family used to, when I was younger, treat me the same way they treat me here, right now in China, and that's what I thought was really odd when I first come here to China. They treat me like I'm ignorant, and they treat me like I don't really know and understand things. Um, and they're right. I don't know and understand things, but it's a negative. Now, the one thing I got going for me now is I'm older and I'm an elder, so they can't treat me as bad as they used to when I was in the United States with my own family, because my own family didn't understand a lot of the things I did because, like I say, I was born and raised in the United States and half Chinese, so my thinking isn't like I was came from the old country. So, and that confused everybody. They didn't understand what that meant, and so, and that's a lot what happens here now as foreigners. Uh, they can look at it this way. Look at this person. He confuses me because he looks different. He acts different. He's got different ways, different mannerisms. He does things differently. So he confuses. Yeah, and he confuses me, and that makes him a threat. And so that's why they would call me a foreigner. Like well, when we get in the United States, when we get confused on nationalities, then we say, "Well, he's a Mexican," So you're making fun of him for that, or I mean something like that. You would think they would call me an American. Well, he's an American. No, no, no. I'm a foreigner because just that word by itself says that he's ignorant to our ways, and that's the way they pretty much treat you. Like I say, I've got the advantage because, like I say, I am older. I'm much, much wiser, so I can handle them. And so they don't really call me a foreigner to my face. Now, once I get to know somebody, then he will tell me, everybody, they just call you a foreigner. He tells me, or they tell me all this stuff. And I know it. Like I say, I've been raised like this, even as a child. And I say, well, Mike is like that because, he's American, he doesn't speak the language. Because that's one of the things they say. If you don't speak Chinese, you're not Chinese. I mean, there's a lot of full-blooded Chinese that were born in the United States that don't speak Chinese, and they tell them the same thing. They say, well, you don't speak Chinese, you're not Chinese. And so it's one thing in the Chinese, because they've got different what do you call it, different villages that people come from. Okay, we are better than you. So, and that's the way they express it. Well, you're a foreigner, you're not from our village, you're from another village. But now the people are coming from miles and miles away, like me. So they still use the same type of mentality. Is, you're a foreigner. You know what I mean? So, foreigner is, and what they do is they take advantage of foreigners because of their attitude towards the foreigner is like he's a second-class person. They will be nice to you and polite, and then, but like I say, they're really taking advantage of you. And that's why I'm saying, that's why I've never had a business in China, is because they're nice to these people that have businesses. They're going to bring some technology in, so they'll be real nice to this person with technology. You bring your technology in, well, we'll be nice to you, and treat them real nice and all this stuff. But really, they still have that same mentality of you are a foreigner. You know what I mean? So you will be treated differently. And but the people are polite, and that's a natural thing for them. They're polite. They're really polite. That's what I love about the culture and the nationality, my family and all that. They are really, really polite, real nice. But like I say, in the United States, they are the minority, so no big deal. They're polite, the same thing. But now here, the mentality is different. They're polite for different reasons, and that's why I had one guy say, well, the only reason people are nice to you is because you're a foreigner. He says, if I was to do this, they wouldn't treat me right. And he says, anyway, he says they're just being polite with you anyway. They're not really sincere. And I don't know about that. But one thing, I think it was a young man, and I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. So I really can't go along with it. But it does set my mind. I do realize a lot of times they are being just acting the nice part. But I say, I've seen my family. They as much problems as I had with my family, whatever it was, they were polite. They are nice. But then again, so am I. So maybe I don't know if it's, now I'm thinking it might be the Chinese in me that makes me so nice and polite to everybody. I thought it was because I've owned businesses. And if you're going to run a business, successful business, you better be polite and nice to people. So that's what I thought it was. But now I'm thinking it may be the Chinese in me that makes me like that. But I just thought I would say something about the foreigner thing, because it is something that you need to keep in mind, because the Chinese, the culture, the people, they've had thousands of years of history. They get occupied a lot. It seems like somebody's always occupying them. Somebody's taking them over. And now with the communist Chinese, they really do. They've taken over their own country. But like I say, you still have that mentality that you got to deal with. But like I say, if it's not them, it'll be somebody. So, and that's why I say, have an open mind, understand when you're being treated a certain way, you're being treated like a foreigner. When they talk about you, it's the foreigner part. That's the thing it's not a good thing. So, but it's not bad. Like I've seen them in the United States, they would treat foreigners bad sometimes. The good thing is there's enough good people that they don't put up with that shit. Because, like I say, the United States is made up of foreigners. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.